Welcome to the Elbow River in Calgary. Gonna dive into Gene Key 18. The shadow is judgment, the gift is integrity, and the city is perfection. Well, this Gene Key happens to be in my IQ sphere, as it's called, in the hologenetic profile. And it's interesting because this Gene Key 18 speaks about the IQ, the intellectual quotient. And it speaks about how as we incarnate in this lifetime, as when we're born, we have these cycles of 7 where we, in the first 7 years of our life, are really incarnating into our physicality. How we breathe, our organs grow, we get our teeth, like it's very physical, and the imprinting that happens from 0 to 7 is very crucial to how we will evolve as humans, or how we will evolve as adults or not. And these cycles play out every 7 years. So if something happened in your first 7-year cycle, let's say your parents split up, then in the next cycle, which is your emotional quotient, your EQ, something will play out again at that same point in time. And then the third cycle is the IQ, and that's when our mental development really starts to kick in our teen years, from 14 to 21. Our mental programming and patterning starts to take hold. And the mental patterning in our judgments, basically. And a lot of our judgments come from the people that are around us, our parents, our friends, our teachers. And we will, in the shadow level, we will literally become fixated, or we will become fixed in a certain belief about reality. And in the shadow level, it's very limited because of these judgments. And the judgments, the root, as Richard Rudd speaks about, comes from this belief that there is something inherently wrong with the universe, that it's flawed. And this is where, the city and the shadow are connected in a way. It's like the judgment is the lack of perfection. The city is that, the universe is perfect as it is. So having this fundamental belief that there is something wrong with the universe, or wrong with yourself, that you're not good enough as you are. As many of us know that, we create our realities based off of our inner structure. So if we are fundamentally feeling that we ourselves are flawed, or that the world out there is flawed, we will create situations that continually show us what we believe. So at the gift level, integrity is, it's not about morals. And this is where it's not been that long ago that I was really taking a deep dive on the word integrity for myself, because I could see that I was really caught up in integrity being tied to morals, and the morals being society's idea of what morality is, versus, as Richard Rudd speaks about, integrity is not so much about the individual. It's life, it's nature, it's life itself. There's people in the neighborhood here in the Airbnb that I'm staying at. Lovely, lovely place out in nature. And nature is integral. Animals don't judge. They don't have judgments about this is bad, this is good. It just all is. And nature has a beautiful order to it. And so thinking of integrity from that place, for the individual, it's like, what's your true nature? And that's where I was on my journey just a few years ago, of realizing how out of integrity I was with myself. And going on that journey of like, what mental patterns have I adopted that is creating a false or a fixated world that's limiting me. And he speaks about like in that third cycle from 14 to 21. And by the way, that's, many people believe that it's not until we're 21 that we're fully incarnated into the world, where our physical development has occurred, our emotional imprinting, and then our mental imprinting. And there's also going back to the womb as well, the trimesters while you're in the mother's womb, that imprints us also. And so we're getting all this imprinting, and then we have to sort of go through this journey of like realizing, what are we judging? What am I judging as flawed? And a lot of times our judgment has a lot to do with our insecurities. We feel insecure about ourselves, and so we judge something, and that makes us feel better about ourselves. But it doesn't really, it still keeps us limited and living in our box. So to go on this journey of ascending into the gift, extending our frequency and our vibration, we have to let go of all the judgments that we have. And the other thing, when I was considering, when I was going through my journey of like really understanding what integrity is all about, is that, you know, what's the difference between judgment and discernment? Because we need discernment in our life. We need to know what's good for us, what's healthy for us, and what isn't. And those aren't the same as judgments. So really a judgment, what keeps it in the lower shadow victim pattern, is when we identify with our judgments and our opinions. And we are really attached to them. And what Richard Rudd says, if we know we're judging, then it's okay. Like we're not identifying with it. So there's that difference there that I've really explored for myself as well. And the other thing I love that he says about integrity is that the word grit is in that word integrity. And you do need to have that grit, because a lot of the times you're going against the grain, you're going against the mainstream. And that's where like morality and all that ties in. It's like, where do some of these morals come from? Do they come from some outside authority that's saying that this is the way, that what you should believe about the reality? And going against that takes a lot of grit and courage. And going back to like our true nature, that we have inner morals. Like humans innately are good, loving people. When we come from a rooted knowing, an embodied knowing, and that's where we start to get into the integrity. And we do not suffer from this lack belief of I am not good enough or the world is flawed. Then we operate out of deep compassion and love and creativity. And he speaks about, in the hexagram, it talks about fixing what is spoiled. In the shadow level of this judgment and the victim, we're just like commenting on what is spoiled, and there is no talking about fixing it. There is not that level of empowerment that, you know, we can at the gift level use our creativity to work on improving ourselves and others. And that's the paradox. It's like at the Siddhic level, everything is perfect. The universe is working perfectly, but you know, there are improvements that can be made. And so as we get into the gift level, then we feel this natural desire to want to help and improve the world and help and improve others. And, you know, many people fall into the trap. I myself did as well, where, you know, I had a lot of anger about the way the world was, and I wanted to help save the world. And it's not about doing that first. It's about working on ourselves first and improving ourselves first and really getting to know who we are. We can't help anybody else if we don't truly know who we are. And that's the journey of integrity. And to finish off at the Siddhic level of perfection, I mean, it's the inner perfection and the outer perfection. And, you know, what if when we hold this knowing, and it goes beyond belief, that there is this what's that word? I used to use it all the time. Not paranoia, but pronoia, where everything's working in your favor. So, as I say in all of these contemplation videos, the shadow is not bad. Everyone has it, and it's the journey of evolving. And so at the Siddhic level, we can even look at the shadow as perfect as well, because it's taking us on this journey to get to know ourselves and to get to know who we really are, and then to get to know, what our true service to the world is. And in a way, nobody needs to be helped. We just need to be reminded of who we really are. I'll see you in the next video. And of course, as always, I'd love to hear from you.